Hello, and welcome to this episode of the San Diego Property Safari, where I'll share with you the 3 reasons we're definitely not in a housing bubble. Home values appreciated about 10% in 2020, and they're forecast to appreciate about 5% this year in 2021. This has some voicing concern we may be in another housing bubble like the one we experienced a little over a decade ago. Here are 3 reasons why this market is totally different. Number 1, this time, housing supply is extremely limited. The price of the market item is determined by supply and demand. If supply is high and demand is low, prices normally decrease. If supply is low and demand is high, well, naturally, prices increase. In real estate, supply and demand are measured in months' supply of inventory, which is based on the current homes for sale compared to the number of buyers in the market. The normal supply of inventory for the market is about 6 months. Anything above that defines a buyer's market, indicating that prices will soften. Anything below that defines a seller market, which prices normally appreciate. Between 2006 and 2008, this month's supply of inventory increased from just over 5 months to 11 months. The month's supply over 7 months and 27 of those 36 months, yet home values continue to rise. Months inventory has been under 5 months for the last 3 years, under 4 for 13 of the last 14 months, under 3 for the last 6 months, and currently stands at 1.9 months, a historic low. Remember, if supply is low and demand is high, naturally prices increase. Number 2, this time the housing demand in real estate during the housing boom of the mid-2000s. That's what Robert Shiller, a fellow at the Yale School of Management International Center for Finance, called irrational exuberance. The definition of the term is unfounded market optimism that lacks a real foundation for fundamental valuation, but instead rests on psychological factors. Without considering historic market trends, people caught up in a frenzy and bought houses based on unrealistic belief that housing values would continue to escalate. The mortgage industry fed into this craziness by making mortgage money available to just about anyone, as shown in the Mortgage Credit Availability Index published by the Mortgage Bankers Association. The higher the index, the easier it is to get a mortgage. The lower the index, the more difficult it is to obtain one. Prior to the housing boom, the index stood just below 400. In 2006, the index hit an all-time high with over 868. Again, just about anyone could get a mortgage. Today, the index stands at 122.5, which is well below even the pre-boom level. In the current real estate market, demand is real. It's not fabricated. Millennials, the largest generation in the country, have come of age to marry and have children, which are 2 major drivers for home ownership. The health crisis is another challenging every household to redefine the meaning of home and to reevaluate whether their current home meets that new definition. This desire to own, coupled with historically low mortgage rates, makes purchasing a home today a strong, sound financial decision. Therefore, today's demand is very real. Remember, if supply is low and demand is high, prices naturally increase. Number 3, this time households have plenty of equity. Again, during the housing boom, it wasn't just that. Purchasers who got caught up in the frenzy. Existing homeowners started using their homes like ATM machines. There was a wave of cash-out refinances, which enabled homeowners to leverage the equity in their homes. From 2005 through 2007, Americans pulled out about $824 billion in equity. That left many homeowners with little or no equity in their homes at a very critical time. As prices began to drop, some homeowners found themselves in a negative equity situation, where a mortgage was higher than the value of their home. Many defaulted on their payments, which led to an avalanche of foreclosures. Today, the banks and the American people have shown they've learned a valuable lesson from a housing crisis a little over a decade ago. Cash-out refinance volume over the last 3 years was less than a third of what it was compared to the 3 years leading up to the crash. This conservative approach has created levels of equity never seen before. According to the Census Bureau, over 38% of owner-occupied homes and units are owned free and clear without a mortgage. Also, Atom, the data solutions, just released their fourth quarter 2020 U.S. Home Equity Report, which revealed 17.8 million residential properties in the United States equity rich, meaning that the combined estimated amount of the loans secured by these properties was 50% or less of the estimated value. The count of equity-rich properties in the fourth quarter of 2020 represented about 1 in 3 of the 59 million mortgaged homes in the United States. If we combine the 38% of homes that are owned free and clear with the 18.7% of all homes that have at least 50% equity, well, we realize that 56.7% of these homes have a minimum of 50% equity. That's significantly better than the equity situation in 2008. The bottom line, this time housing supply is at a historic low. Demand is real and rightly motivated. Even if there were to be a big drop in prices, homeowners would have enough equity to be able to weather a dip in home values. This is nothing like 2008. In fact, it's the exact opposite. If you'd like to learn more about the market and interview me to be your agent, well, let's get connected to discuss. You can get in contact with me through my website at roberthughesgroup.com or give me a call at 619-991-7529. Thank you for your time. And again, never stop exploring for that next great property.